All right. Hey, y'all. All right. I'm not here for long. Let's get this show on the road. On the road.
God is dawn. Like and subscribe. Comment some night. Loving this light. Here's God is dawn. God is dawn. God is dawn.
Yes, peace, world peace. Welcome or welcome back to Goddess Dawn Speaks, baby. I am Goddess Dawn the Warrior, back live with a little afternoon tea. Let me say hi to y'all who are here before I get started. What's going on? Wow, Wayne, thank you for holding me down. Chrissy Power, yes. Queen Keish, I see you. Thank you for being here. Joel Jackson, yes. I saw Truth Seeker 59. Thank you for coming in. It's been a minute. Yeah, I'm here in the afternoon for a few minutes. What's going on, Stasia, the artist? Thomas Reese, what's up, King? Yeah. Thank you guys for coming in the chat. I appreciate you. If I have a handful of y'all and a handful of y'all in the chat, that is success. Yes. Thank you. So, I am talking about Kanye West today, y'all. I mean, it was really between him, Ray J, and then 50 Cent and his son, or T.I. and his son. There's a lot of conflict going on with these males here. But it's been in the headlines, or Kanye. He's been in the headlines more than usual as of late. I'm sure you guys have seen the White Lives Matter shirts recently with Candace Owens, child, right by his side. Candace Owens. And I don't know if you guys saw, Candace was also responsible for leaking that audio of Kim Kardashian raging at Ray J about Whitney Houston. Now, she was pissed. She was calling Whitney all kinds of disgustings and crackheads. I'm sure y'all heard about that. But yeah, Candace was the one that dropped that, and kind of feel like Kanye passed down to her. From Ray J to Kanye, from Kanye to Candace. You know what? Send me what you got. I know somebody that'll put it out there for her. She has a big platform. But he also recently went at Diddy and Boosie because they were checking him about the White Lives Matter merch. And, before all of this went down, he was at war with his family, his ex-wife, Kim Kardashian, and his mother-in-law, former mother-in-law, Kris Jenner. Yeah, they've been at odds and going back and forth. He seems to have a problem with the way that the kids are being schooled and the way the kids are being raised. He's been very vocal about a lot of these matters. There's some pictures of them during better times. But things ain't so great these days with the family. He has fame and he has money, but at what cost? I came across a couple of other Kanye articles that caught my attention amidst all of this stuff going on with him. He had interviewed with Tucker Carlson, I think that's his name, at Fox News. And I talked about that on the member channel last week, I think, in case you're interested. I played some of the interview. It was too much to take, though. We couldn't do the whole thing. But that interview, apparently there were some clips left on the editing room floor, and they were released recently. So let's see what was left on the editing room floor when Kanye interviewed with Fox News. Let me pull that up. Okay. Kanye West leaked Fox News interview footage proves he needs mental health aid. That's what this headline says. It's called Marca.com. It's a lifestyle and celebrities website. So it says there is so much leaked footage Fox News didn't air from Kanye West's interview. I'll just read the article and then I'm going to play a couple of these clips because he says some things, okay? There are many wildly famous artists who also suffer from a mental health disorder and their lives sadly ended in tragedy. Names like Michael Jackson or Robin Williams come to mind immediately. Although they suffered from different types of mental illness, they also rambled on during their final days. We're not saying Kanye West is living his final days. It's just cringe to watch him descend into a concerning state of mind. Those who don't remember, the rapper suffered a serious head trauma before he was famous due to a car crash where he miraculously didn't die. Since then, he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and needed meds ever since. However, West has refused to take his medicine for years now. And just real quick about that car accident, you know, he definitely was on death's door. And this was at the time where his Through the Wires was and written, and I think he even performed while he was still wired up. His jaws were wired, but he's definitely, you know, this is trauma. He's endured a traumatic event, and this happened right before he blew up. Really, he was known, but he wasn't known the way he's known, you know, following this accident. So let's go back to the article. Okay, so I'm going to play. These clips are pretty short, so I'm just going to play a couple. There's only a few of them, actually, so.
Anymore.
Okay. Let me take this picture down.
I'll talk to him if I see him.
Yep. But I guarantee you he see me. And I have visions that God gives me just over and over on community building and how to build these free energy, kinetic, fully kinetic energy communities where we impress, we put the least impression on the earth. We're not building the new New York skyline cockfight, that we are humble in the way that we present ourselves. We've got to rethink who we are as a species. Exactly what our culture is based on. Think about us judging each other on how right with the talk would be like.
Okay, so I was totally on mute after that last clip and forgot. But what I was saying is that I don't see anything wrong with what he said about wanting to share, you know, wanting to build kinetic communities or energy-free communities, and that he has been getting dreams or what I call cosmic downloads about building these energy-free homes or complexes or compounds or whatever it was that he was envisioning. So Fox News decided to leave that on the cutting room floor. But this is the next clip. And these again are from his interview with Fox News, and these were cut out of the interview, these clips.
Exactly what our culture is based on. Think about us judging each other on how white we could talk would be like, you know, a Jewish person judging another Jewish person on how good they danced or something. I mean, that's probably like a bad example when people are going to get mad at that shit. But another thing that they do that I probably want to edit that out in front of that like that. Okay, so, you know, I was talking to Ice Cube today, and we got really beat up in 2020 saying we need to approach things a different way and not just be trauma drunk. Right. Which is a term that God just hit me with in the past couple of days. We are no longer trauma drunk. We are no longer trauma drunk, and we're no longer trauma bonding, and we're no longer woke in the sense of what woke is, because woke is just complaining about racism, but not doing anything about it. So what we're going to do about it is say, hey, you know what? Y'all not going to send nobody at me based on my opinion. You asked the question before. It drove me crazy to not be able to say that I like Trump.
So you heard him. He wants to be able to say that he likes Trump without any press, no pressure, no issues. So they shared those couple of clips, and then they go on to say, Motherboard decided to release footage they obtained of Kanye West Fox News interview with Tucker Carlson. This is an attempt to prove the rapper is not doing well. His rambling keeps escalating to a point where it becomes impossible to understand what he means. Amid the anti-Semitic tweet that got his account suspended, that was only a prelude of even more outlandish statements made by the rapper. Now, if you noticed in this last clip, he did mention Jewish people and said that he probably shouldn't be talking about that. People are going to get mad. So he already knows his boundaries, but he always seems to cross them anyway. Truth Seeker, she's not still talking about Whitney. Actually, the footage that the audio that was leaked, I could probably find it on Twitter, but it was from back when she was, I guess, seeing Ray J, because she and Ray J dated. If you don't recall that little thing, that sex tape that they kind of had, that kind of made her and her family famous. But that was an old audio that leaked, and I personally feel like Ray J had that audio. If the call was made to him and the audio was directed at him. So, I was really surprised to see some of the reactions from that audio where people were really kind of like, well, yeah, Whitney was a crackhead. Like, well, what else? What else is new here? But I think the point was to make Kim the bad guy in the situation. People were taking up for her, though. But it is very disrespectful. And I think it's disrespectful for Ray J or whoever leaked it to be bringing this up for their own agenda. Whitney don't have nothing to do with nothing that's going on with these people. She's still in peace after all this time. But there's a couple more clips. They say it's painful to watch. This one is only 29 seconds long. Let's get into it.
I was biting my tongue on my political opinion because I thought it would be better for my children. And now you look up and my kids are going to a school that teaches Black kids a complicated Kwanzaa. I prefer my kids knew Hanukkah than Kwanzaa. At least it will come with some financial engineering. Kwanzaa doesn't, so they don't teach even Christmas itself, Christ Mass.
He called it Christ Mass. Okay, let's move on to the next clip.
Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race Black really are. This is who our people are, the blood of Christ. This, as a Christian, is my belief. And I believe that if we saw ourselves as more
what, Kanye? Okay, so as you can see, they cut out a lot of the stuff about, Jewish people. Can't talk about Jewish people. Okay, can't talk about gay people. Can't talk about Jewish people. Now, in their opinion, they said, should this path continue for Kanye West, it is impossible to know for certain where he might end up, judging on how his predecessors finished their lives. The horizon is not looking great for Kanye West. People who love him need to encourage him to take his medication in order to get back to his brilliant creative mind. When he is focused on creating art for the rest of the world, Kanye West is truly unstoppable. The saddest part of these videos is the following clip about Virgil. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Abloh, he was a fashion designer who, before he passed away I think he was in his 40s, he was the head of the Louis Vuitton male fashion house, which is a big deal for a designer. And Kanye and him were, at one point close. And he accuses them of basically killing his friend. But let's hear. I'm not going to play it all. It's like 7 minutes.
At the end of the day, we all know we have to answer to God.
Now, some of us in desperate times may grab a little bit too much of the Hennessy. I'll be specific. Arno, shout out. Thank you for making the Hennessy. It's delicious. That's an LVMH company. I'm kind of very much so in beefing with them right now because they killed my best friend, Virgil.
How did they kill Virgil?
First of all, they hired him. Well, do you want the, I'm gonna try to give you the abbreviated story?
Yeah.
Okay, so Virgil was hired as my assistant and he ended up becoming one of my best friends because we traveled everywhere. We traveled to Japan, we interned in Italy at Fendi because we weren't accepted in Paris. And we started to gain momentum in the design world. And then Virgil did his own line called Off-White. And then I stopped doing the Kanye West line. I started doing the Yeezy line. And I did a licensing deal. I had a licensing deal with Adidas. I mean, we still have that deal.
I'm actually going to pause it here because he mentioned the deal with Adidas. And that is actually, he said they still have the deal. And actually that deal is currently under review. Let me scroll up and tell you why. Because for whatever reason, Kanye decided to show porn during the Adidas meeting. They're saying it was a weird power move to instate a new CEO. It says that he wanted big changes with his Adidas partnership. So how they describe what happened is, I guess, so it says the drama continues as a video of a meeting that took place in Adidas headquarters surfaced, where he shows the execs a porn movie out of the blue and surprises them before condemning the company for reportedly stealing his designs. Apparently, Adidas and Kanye were in cahoots to come up with a new line of sneakers, as they did with the highly successful Yeezys. Before accusing the Adidas team of having stolen Ye's designs, he tried to install a new CEO. It was quite confusing if the CEO was for the whole company or for his personal brand, which, since they both were going hard, it says, the executives. And so why he would show porn to these people and what that has to do with him wanting a new CEO, I don't know. But at the time that he did this interview, apparently everything was all good. Let me see. Okay, so it says the power move was to instate a parallel on how Adidas was going to doing him, since they are in charge of mass producing some of his designs. And he said there were, along with Kanye, there were two other men with him, and both of them were insisting on backing Kanye up, saying that they were only going to work with Adidas if he's the CEO. So there's big beef between him and Adidas at this point, and they're re-examining the relationship, as they should. So, but back to his friend Virgil, because what he said is quite crazy, but believable if you believe conspiracies and things. Okay, I'm actually going to skip down to 4 minutes.
Product is selling. Virgil was actually the third person to die of cancer in that organization. So not just Black men have passed in that organization, but the third person to die of cancer that was in a higher up position in that organization. And with Paris, it's a different level of elitism and racism. And Virgil was the kind of guy that he didn't hold it in. And I believe it ate him up from inside. And
How old was he?
40, early 40s. And people were like, what you mean you was best friends? You don't know the exact age. But I don't know the date.
He's a young man.
Yeah, he's a young man. So he the level of racism, elitism, and pressure that he was under, I'm sure affected his health. And then at that point, also me and Virgil had a rivalry because he had taken my place in fashion. He now was Drake to the radio of what he was to fashion. And we had a strained relationship also. But the people I've spent the most time with in my life is my mom, second, Kim, third, Virgil. Lost all three of them in some way at this point. So I felt with Bernard Arnault, not only did he pull on the deal that contributed to me breaking down and go back on his word with that, he also went on to hire multiple people out of my organization. Like anyone that ever worked with me.
Okay, so he is blaming, did you hear all that? He basically said that LVMH, I believe, is the fashion house or the corporation that owns Louis Vuitton, but the owner, Arnold, let me pull him up real quick, multi-billionaire, Bernard Arnault, and he's a French business magnate, investor, and art collector, and he is worth $144.8 million. Okay, and he is blaming for the death of his friend, or his former friend. He said that the relationship had been strained because of the Louis Vuitton deal. Part of why they were strained as friends. And sounds like he himself had a breakdown, and he was blaming Arnault on this breakdown that he had. Listen, all of that he said was deep. And, him accusing them of killing Virgil and having that being cut and put on the cutting room floor. I guess that's what Fox, they're not going to be salacious and play him accusing this big fashion corporation of murder. But I mean, I'm glad somebody ended up leaking it. because these things need to be heard. Now, Kanye has always been that guy, right? Like always. And I don't know. This is a different guy that we're dealing with today, I think. If you guys remember when he told George Bush that he didn't care about black people, I mean, what happened to that, Kanye? We, the culture, had high hopes for him back then. You know, the trauma he experienced with this head injury could also be still playing a part. It was early on in his career before he actually blew up, but it was the inspiration for one of his biggest hits. Even though Shaka Khan, who he sampled it from, says he ruined her song Through the Fire. But, soon after all these great successes, his mom passes away unexpectedly after a cosmetic surgery. So I'm sure that was also trauma for him. And this is when we really saw a changed man, right? And I don't know. I've questioned whether or not he's been cloned for real. Like, don't laugh. That's really a thing. But of course, there's no proof, so it's neither here nor there. But taking that out of the equation, what are we left with? The fact that he's MAGA now, White Lives Matter merchandise, accusing fashion corporations of murder on interviews, showing porn in legit business meetings. I mean, what is it all about? His influence or his voice is heard by a lot of ears, young, impressionable ears also, ones that should actually be protected from the likes of him and what he's been spewing. Except for like what he said about knowing how things are in Paris. He said there's a different level of racism, a different level of elitism. So he's not, forgotten what's really going on. But it just seems like, he's really more so for his own self-interest, whatever it is that's pushing him or whatever's putting that battery in his back or whoever or however much money. But, bring back the old Ye. Bring back the old Ye. The you don't care about black people Kanye. The gold digger, the Jesus walks, the good life Kanye, because this one ain't it. He really needs prayer, meditation, for love, protection, and guidance, as do his children. As do his children. Can you imagine their lives and the mental states they're going to be in when they're older teens and adults? Child, I'm going to tell you that North and Saint, they stand out to me as, ones that you're going to want to watch. Whether good or bad, child, they're going to be probably making headlines. I was trying to pull up this one picture. Let's see. I can't find the picture, but it's a beautiful family. But there's going to be problems. And is this the price for fame? These problems that he's going through that we're seeing publicly. Hopefully, Chris, where's she at? Hopefully, Grandma Chris will have retired from pimping by the time these kids are older. Heard about the lengths she's gone to for fame. You know what I'm saying? I mean, reshooting Kim's sex tape scenes. Wow. Mother of the year. But it all paid off, right? Kim is like, she got so famous that the whole family got to eat good off of her, and the men too that they dealt with, even though I feel like they paid more of a price than not. Lamar, Tyga. I mean, even Tristan's cheating self is, the whole world knows he's a dog. But was it worth it? That's the question. Was it worth it, Kanye? Is it worth it? We'll say, because it's not over. Not over, Kanye. Is he still doing Sunday service? That's the other thing I wanted to know. Did he lose his religion? Well, he's in my prayers, as are all of you. But yeah, I just wanted to come and talk about this guy just because he has been in the news so much. And I am a little, I would say, concerned as a person who doesn't know him could be for his well-being, because we definitely don't want to see him end up dead somewhere because he's saying things he shouldn't, that people don't want him to say. He's dealing with these high-powered people. And it's a reason for why these high-powered people keep their business out of the streets. It's because people are afraid to put their business out in the streets because they know the consequences to that. But then you have people like Kanye who, he gonna say, F the consequences, I got something to say, right? Well, with that said, I'm out, y'all. Thank you for checking in with me. I appreciate you so much. What's going on, Niecy fan? But yeah, I will see you on the next one. Till then, y'all. Bye.